Yeah, when Moors study our Quran and questions for Moorish children, prosecutors and magistrates hate us in the admin buildings, challenging jurisdiction, paperwork sent first, no fiat, quenching their money-hungry, bloody credit thirst. Trustees benefit when they escheat your estate. That you thought was a provincial state is a big mistake. From corporate plantations, there's no escape or back door unless reserve rights on contract doors. Keep eyes open for, like you misplaced something. It's witchcraft when you hear caught and your heartbeats jumping. Extortion, past due letters, fake money, bounty hunting. Filing public records, papers within debt counties fronting to have authority, constitution approved. But those filed papers at the county doesn't stop the abuse. Might as well just put on the noose, shackles and chains on ankles, no boots. In snowstorms with no shame, with no status, no flag, no free national name. With fractional damage, collateral, irrational claims. Catch a psych evaluation or contempt of quasi-court. Calling out what's not in evidence won't set a precedence. Misprision of treason and gross negligence. Denying due process and sharing the same sentiments. On you harder than cement is. If you give them a chance, I'm here to help you not enter their brainwash camps. Keep your neck hidden, no kidding. Watch out for vamps, light revealer, and keeper won't keep casting the lamps. Always giving without expecting thanks. In a b-boy stance, scimitar swinging at outstretched hands.
My attack is purely mental and this nature's not fitness meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and this nature's not fitness meant to wake you up out of your brainwash.
Yo, they run on a fraud with elegance, lower self-elements. Get the gentleness stomp of Hannibal Alp elephants. Taking back our settlements, induce relevant resonance. In full life, ancestral mind, no artificial intelligence. Men turn bionic, high off the seedless hydroponic. Thinking they on it, but what they on it must be demonic. Not Baphomet, Moroccan star on his head. Crescent moons of Islam, he uses caduceus from Kemet. Sitting in meditation, goatee like a Rasta. Raised Kundalini light bursts out the crown chakra. Volcanic viewed HD and panoramic. No ayahuasca root, seeing signs and symbols automatic. Dinner plate eyes, cause mine's so wide open. Maybe an omen, can't see truth cause your third eye swollen. And it's not going down no matter what spell's smoking. Or your devotion or golden potent potion. Can't even use water frozen, Moorish shogun. Says the calcifying chambers now rest in the bottom of oceans. Left hoping, false prophet quoting and chasing. Minds under control like lasers for steel engraving. Mental blocks and thought barricades, the real enslaving. No cape, no type, no dynamic duo when I'm saving. With heads locked, pop brainwash, don't think I'm breaking or b-boying. Good scholars, very annoying. With hillbilly sovereigns, knowledge hee-hawing. Being sold out by my owners, what has me worried?
My attack is purely mental and this nature's not fitness meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and this nature's not fitness meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and this nature's not fitness meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and this nature's not fitness meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and this nature's not fitness meant to wake you up. My attack is purely mental. Wake you up out of your brainwash. It's purely mental. Wake you up. My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fitness meant to wake you up out of your brainwash.
Islam, and welcome to MHHS Eyes Wide Open. This is your host, Anna L., along with my co-host, Ms. Ryan Woman. Let's see. Mariah.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back, sister. Mm-hmm. Welcome back. I know you were back last Wednesday on the Readers, Circle of Readers, but this is your first time back on our National Principles in Action. How you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And,
how you feeling?
I'm doing all right.
All right. That's what we want to hear. All right.
All right. And I see Joe Azwael.
Islam, peace and love, and welcome back.
Islam. All right, Islam. And
right.
I'm not seeing Miss.
You're not seeing Miss?
No,
Well,
he
might be preparing for a class. He's going to be live at New York tomorrow during the class. He might be preparing for it, but I'll double check on him for you.
All right.
Mhm.
Let's see. Let me just scroll down and see if I see him. Right. Well, I'm not seeing him. So maybe
I'm
join
going to
us
find out.
later or not at all. Not sure.
Hold on. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see.
check.
While we're waiting for an update, let's check the calendar and see where we are in the month. Because today is 12. All right. This Sunday, 17th, and we'll be Sisters Standing on Law. So that kicks off a very busy week. Because we have Sisters Standing on Law this Sunday, the 17th. Festivals of Nationality in Action on the 19th. And then we have our Moorish Heritage and History schools. And we'll have Abdullah Mosley Talib on Wednesday. And then on the 21st, which is the third Thursday, we have some of our lots. So this will be a jam-packed week. So get ready for a lot of information as usual. Now, I'm hoping that my earpiece are all right because I got the same earpiece I was using the last time. It's charged up.
It's a little echoey or choppy, just a bit. Maybe the volume should be turned down a bit, but it does sound just a little bit echoey.
Oh, how's that sound now?
Keep talking.
How does that sound now? I got the volume down a little bit, but I might need to change my earpiece.
You might.
Probably better to change. If you have another one, we could try the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
And
you know what? I think Miz is on. While you're changing that, you can. I think Miz
I
is
see him. I see him
okay.
now.
All right.
All right, and we have hold on, Ms. Raheem Olive Hill.
All right.
Peace and love, Moors. Peace and Islam.
Peace and love.
Islam.
It's great to have you back on. We all pardon me for not being on cue, but definitely great night. Definitely great to have you back. And I'm thankful to be
well,
here.
At least you was able to get in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when you come too late, you can't get in. So
too
at
late.
least you were able to get in.
At 9:16 it's full.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I'm just trying to find my other earpiece, and here we go. All right. So, before I officially start the show, I want to just change my earpiece. So, hold on for a quick second. All right. All right. So, today's broadcast, as a result of, all right, I just changed earpieces, so I hope that sounds better.
Well, it's echoey. You sound better without the earpiece if you was just working without one.
Echoey? It sounds echoey?
Yeah, you were. Yes, echoey.
It sounds echoey now?
No, I think you're all right. What? How does it sound, Cujo? How's it sound?
Yeah, it's you know, because I know people are funny. You know what I mean? People are funny.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
People
all
are
right.
funny.
Well, I'll
so,
just use the earpiece.
Yeah. If
all right.
you can,
so
you know, we can. Yeah.
You sound great.
This is perfect. Yeah, you sound great.
Well,
now.
yeah, I just turned off my earpiece.
Yeah.
Anyway. What we'll do, let's just get started, because today's broadcast, I like watching documentaries. I can watch them over and over and over again because I always hear something new, or I get a new perspective, or I get a whole, you know, sometimes I get a whole new 360 degree turn just from a little piece of information. So I was watching this documentary. I like watching documentaries on all types of things, but food. I love watching documentaries on food, nutrition, and, you know, the things that it does to the body, because, you know, I come from a family of herbalists, and so I know about herbs and the good that herbs do, and I also know that the majority of the people on planet Earth are eating the wrong types of food. So I was inspired to write something, and I said, oh, well, you know, let me talk about it tonight. So tonight's broadcast is entitled Stakes on the Table. If you do not start learning, which means to study, you will be just what the King Alfred Plan said, not using your intelligence, therefore stupid, good for nothing, but to be stakes on the table. This means today you have people running around like chickens with their heads cut off thinking, if I can just capture the straw, corporations will no longer be able to make money off of me. Such a gross lack of information, because every single corporation on this Moroccan-American soil is using all the people to generate income. Why? Because people today do not think. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, if I can just get you to thinking, you mess around and free yourself. I interjected the mess around. People are gullible fools. Stakes on the table of every corporation, and they eat very well as a result. Let's take a look at how ridiculous people are. They run around to get a copy of a birth certificate. Then they return items that they exchanged for some sort of compensation for free. Then they think they are establishing a trust to keep them safe. Meanwhile, much of what you eat is processed, creating a disharmony, because, you know, people don't cook today. They don't cook. It takes too long, too labor intense. So much of what people are eating today is processed. And this creates a disharmony within the body. These processed foods include elements that make you addicted. You may have a job where you lobby for so-called health insurance. The health insurance is supposed to enable you to go to a practicing physician. That's somebody who practices on you. Every day you go to these practicing people and they say, well, let's try this. Oh, that didn't work? Well, let's try this. That didn't work? Oh, let's try this. That's practicing. Who they practicing on? You. Practicing physicians who, in essence, is your high priest or priestess. And they tell you what your body is doing. All of it, pure speculation. The high priestess then puts you on some form of chemical that interrupts normal bodily functions. You may even self-diagnose, prescribe, and medicate yourself with these drugs, right? These drugs create another addiction. Where do you get the drugs from? Now, back in my day, they used to call them drug stores. Today, they call them pharmacies. But they're selling drugs. So you start taking these drugs, you get addicted to the drugs, so you can't just stop after a while, or your body will go into shock. Then you'll either have a seizure, stroke, heart attack, or possibly die. Now, you dying is not part of the corporate objective. You can't generate income dead. So the goal is to keep you alive, to continue generating revenue until your body wears out from abuse and gives out. And you're worried about a birth certificate, driver's license, social security card, or a so-called trust. When you voluntarily participate in corporations who do not have a product or a service using you through bait and switch, making you nothing more than steaks on the table. Mexico, the corporation on the southern portion of Morocco in America, banned junk food ads aimed at children. They also banned junk foods in school lunches. Now, this corporation is depicted by the United States of America Corporation as bad, violent, and murderous. Yet every single corporation on the United States of the United States of America targets people, babies, teens, sons, mother, elderly, as revenue generators, and violently abuses them to the point of murder. This is like the pot calling the kettle black. Food advocates across the nation have been murdered for telling people the truth. And your solution to freedom is, let's capture the straw man. Let's get that birth certificate. Let's turn in that social security number, driver's license, and let's start a trust. Ridiculous. Stakes every last one of you, because you're not thinking at all. Because if you was thinking, you would see. If you're most people, we need to, Papa said, go back to the mindset of our foremothers and forefathers. Who knows how to plant? Anybody got plants growing? Simple things in their homes, like lettuce, kale, tomatoes, peppers. These are things that you can grow in your house. No, ain't nobody growing nothing. Anybody collecting seeds? No, nobody's collecting seeds. Are our people polluting the landmass that they allege is their estate? Yes, they are. Do they eat a lot of processed foods? Yes, they do. Even consuming processed foods is detrimental to the health. And if you eat meat, the World Health Organization, either this year or last year, finally came out and said meat is a carcinogen. Now, if you ain't studying, you probably don't even know how to pronounce that word carcinogen. And if you don't know how to pronounce it, chances are you probably don't even know what it means. A carcinogen is a substance that causes cancer. Yes, the World Health Organization stated on record that consuming meat, especially processed meat, causes cancer. So for all you people out there who think, oh, but I'm a vegetarian, I eat dairy. I eat fish or chicken. None of those things are vegetables. So you're still consuming carcinogens, right? If you go to the website that says, that addresses, the American Heart Association, because we're talking about people, dying from heart attacks at an alarming rate, they say. So where do you go to get your information about not to have a heart attack? The American Heart Association. Yet, American Heart Association, their sponsor is the dairy industry. If you are concerned about diabetes, they say, on African Americans, diabetes is the biggest killer of the African American race. Well, that means if you go to the American Diabetes Association, they tell you to eat not just dairy, but meat, especially beef. And these things contribute to diabetes. It's not even open for discussion anymore. There's been so many studies. There's a documentary called What the Health. You can watch it on YouTube. Check it out. Now, what is told in that documentary, I've known for years. It's absolutely true. It's why I stopped consuming meat and dairy, because I know the truth about how the dairy even arrives at the store. If you know that they pretty much, dairy is no longer dairy as we've been led to believe. Back in my day, cows, they ate grass, and they were milked by hand. This is a billion-dollar industry. They don't walk on the grass. They don't eat grass, and they're not milked by people anymore. They're milked by machines that don't know when the milk is done, which means what's included in the milk is blood and pus, which is why they have to boil it so that those poisons and contaminants somehow don't find their way into the milk. But everybody who knows a little bit about science knows that if you boil anything, it becomes a concentrate. But we're going to save ourselves from corporations taking advantage of us by capturing the straw. Open your refrigerator. Tell me if you got any dairy products in there. Tell me if you got any meat products. That includes chicken and fish and dairy. Tell me if you got any processed foods in there. Tell me when was the last time you made a cake or you prepared a meal from scratch. If you can't answer any of those questions, or if you can tell me you got some cow's milk or processed foods, or how about the orange juice? Orange juice is squeezed from a number of oranges and then is cooked to over 200 degrees. That's no longer orange juice. That's syrup. Orange syrup has zero nutritional value. It's going to do nothing for you. But you purchase that carton of orange juice, which helped that corporation continue generating revenues. And as you consume these products, you're going to get sick. Then you're going to go to the high priestess. The high priestess is a part of the corporate structure. So the high priestess or the high priest not going to tell you, hey, just go on a whole food plant-based diet and all these problems will go away. No, they're never going to tell you that because that doesn't generate revenue. So they're going to tell you, hey, I got the problem. I got the solution for you. Take this drug, this pill, this medicine, and it will solve this particular problem that you have right now. If you read the label of the drug they're giving you, it creates 2 to 3 other problems in another area. So, who makes these drugs? A pharmaceutical industry. Now, when you go to your job, you lobby for this insurance so that you can buy these drugs. Who are you getting this insurance from? Corporations. Who are you getting the drugs from? Corporations. Who are you going to see to tell you what's going on in your body because you're too ignorant to figure it out for yourself? Some employee of a corporation in some capacity. And then when you die, who are you going to go to put you in one of those nice, fancy, cute boxes and then bury you in some plot somewhere in the earth? Corporations. And you really think that capturing the straw is going to prevent corporations from generating revenue off of you? Stakes on the table. Islam.
Whoa. Islam. That's like hitting two birds with one stone on here, right? I just want to say, because you had mentioned stakes on the table, and a lot of people may know if they are familiar with the King Alfred Plan, social engineering plan that is in effect, that one of the things they do in the social engineering, and they say it right in there, I'm going to read it. It says, based on their silent weapons, they call this silent weapons for quiet war, right? And so weapons of social automation technology. It says the general rule, and this is for all those who may have heard what you just said, and they may not, like you when you say open your refrigerator or whatever like that, they may be, let's say they're confused. I don't know. Maybe they're confused. Well, if you are in that mental state of confusion, guess what the plan, the social engineering plan was and is? The general rule. Now, this is what they're saying. These corporations that you're trying not to take advantage of it. This is their plan, in effect. The general rule is that there is profit in confusion. The more confusion, the more profit. Therefore, the best approach is to create problems and then offer the solutions. And you just ran down exactly one of the manners in which they do that with the health stuff. You just did it.
The prophet said, go back to the mindset of your foremothers and forefathers. Well, what was our foremothers and forefathers doing? They were growing their own vegetables, and that's pretty much what we ate. If there was a little bit of space next to wherever you lived, you was growing vegetables there. That's it.
And most people not able to, may not be able to do that in their little apartments, but you can grow stuff right on your window seat.
Exactly. Well, if you don't have someplace outside of your home, there's so many different ways that you can grow in your home. They now have these hydro plants. You should check it out. You can have a steady supply of fruits and vegetables all year round. How about we do this? Here's one very doable idea, because one of the things that I learned, and I knew this, is that because they know people don't think, and everybody is concerned with being fat, a lot of the things out there, processed foods particularly, they say things like, oh, this is fat-free. But what they don't tell you is if you remove fat from food, which is really not normal, it tastes horrible. So to compensate, they load it up with sugar. And I found this piece of information out on a documentary. If you go to any processed food you have on your shelf and you look at the label, the so-called nutritional label, which is really not nutritional, you see how much percentage is in each serving to the far right. Look at the line for sugar. To the far right, it's blank, because they know people do not think. So they left it blank. So you might go and you might look, if you're a label reader, you might look and see, hey, this has, 0 fat. How much sugar? For many of our people, the corn and soybean industries, they're just having a field day with our lack of information and lack of thinking. They have come up with a way to take a product that used to be thrown away as trash, and they now call it high fructose corn syrup, and it's in everything. And it plays havoc with the receptors of your body. And if you're susceptible to diabetes, it will push you into diabetes. Diabetes is an issue where you have too much fat in the blood. You could be skinny as all heck, but you have a lot of fat in the blood, which means that the liver cannot grab the insulin because it's crowded out by fat. Well, how do you fix that? You go on a plant-based diet, and the diabetes will disappear, because what we're eating is not normal. And if I'm not mistaken, in the prophecies and the statements, the prophet said that you get this European food and it'll kill you. Well, what the hell are we eating European food for? Oh, and let me not start on the people thinking they eating soul food. I looked at the soul food, and really, what you're eating is slave food. And that wasn't the food that they threw to us. That was the food that our family threw to them. And then when the tables was turned, they continued throwing what they was accustomed to be thrown to the slaves. And somewhere in this whole process, we stopped going into the woods to pick vegetables, and we started eating the crap that they was throwing to us that we initially was throwing to them. And today, people call that soul food. If that is not the mental enslavement, I don't know what is. Slave food has been transformed into soul food.
Soul food. Hey, that's all. It's all the truth. So here's another thing when we're saying go back to the mindsets of our foremothers and forefathers. So even if you might find some way of, or you might find difficult on growing something because you don't have a yard, like we said, you have a windowsill. But the other thing to go back to the mindset is it's called physician heal thyself. So you can use the natural herbs which you can obtain to cure all ailments or any potential threats to the body. So you start using that. And that's another thing. You already really explained how they have you captured into go to the high priest dressed as a physician practicing on you and get whatever they prescribe, which is chemical bull crap, or really which is drugs. But why not physician heal thyself, go to the natural herbs and spices? At least we can do that. I mean,
that's right.
Right.
But that's not only going to be a temporary fix. To be honest with you, if you have cancer somewhere in your body, and most people have some form of cancer in their bodies, cancer is simply an abnormal cell. And if your body is already weak, that abnormal cell is going to be able to multiply. If your body is not weak, I don't mean weak in strength, I mean weak in nutrients, then your body will repel it. But here's two things that I would suggest. One is easy. You can begin it tomorrow. The other one, it's a little bit way down the way. Thing is, you need to get control of yourself. So how about you do a 10-day altering of your diet? And the two recommendations is you consume no sugar and no processed foods for 10 days. No sugar, no processed foods for 10 days. That's short term. Long term is if you really don't want the corporations eating off of you, how about we all buy some seeds, start growing our own vegetables. We don't go to the grocery store. We don't go to the high priestesses, which is simply practicing physicians. We don't need, if you change your diet, right? Because, see, you're not going to the grocery store and you're not buying any processed foods, all right? So if you're not eating the wrong types of food, your body's going to start to heal itself. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, your body will renew itself. 2 weeks if you're serious, all right? You're not going to need those drugs if you are taking any. If you are following the diet of our ancestors, you're not going to need insurance because you won't be sick. If you really want to put the insurance companies out of business, you can take down the pharmaceutical company, the insurance company, the hospital industry, the high priestess industry. You can take them all out. The entire food industry, you take them all out. If you really don't want corporations eating off of you, this is a doable option. If you really don't want corporations eating off of you, like you steaks on the table. But if you don't want to do any of that, then you can continue to be the steak that these corporations will continue to eat very well. Islam.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Islamic. Wow. Whoa. But I like the way you paralleled it with the real problems that we are faced with and definitely going to be faced with as the days come. And as you said, and people are worried about, I'm going to touch the straw, man. Like it's craziness. And I've seen some of that stuff. I'm going to authenticate. For what? Okay, so you have a so-called authenticated copy of proof of human trafficking, and now you are a party to that. Just be yourself. How about that? You know what I mean? Nothing can change it. But I like the way you put that in there because they're all doing it. Some people actually, they're doing it to keep the corporations from taking advantage, and you just showed how. Speaking back on the medical, even with that, even with the Obama, quote unquote, what they call Obamacare, even he's put in there, he made provisions for those who would be living and thinking allodially Muslim or Islamic. He has it in there. He told you none of this stuff applies to you if that's what you are. You don't need the insurance. It's gambling. Oh, so what? Gambling, that goes against your religion if you've claimed it, your religion and your nationality. So, like all the hints are there. It's the mental slavery that keeps the people believing in these high priests. He really did name them correctly. These high priests and priestesses, those are the ones that are in the so-called doctor robes. That's who they are. It's never been really put like that, but that's really who they are. And that industry they got going on, is everybody talks about it, how, I think they were talking about how Hillary Clinton was in with them or trying to, stop them or whatever. They're all in bed together. I mean, come on, it's a well-known fact that they're all taking advantage. Because they're operating, first of all, on your ancestral state. How about that, all right? So I really don't have. Oh, I do want to add one other thing. I don't want to kind of go off topic, but it is in a way, because this is leading us into, where we need to be mentally. But if I can interject also, because you mentioned King Alfred, and I had recently been rereading King Alfred, and I was studying it with someone last week, and it says here, for instance, in one portion of it, it says about I guess it's our mental slavery makes us have beliefs in things that are fake, that are false, such as these high priests and their drugs, for instance. But it says that one of the things is to consent coefficient, and the psychological basis for the consent, because after a while they're like, you don't even need the people's consent, because they just become like they just herd it like cattle. And that's exactly what happens. You generation after generation, you say, oh, no, that's the way it is. Oh, that's the law. Oh, that's, what you got to do stuff then, because you're not thinking. We're not thinking. And again, Prophet said, if I could get you to thinking, you'd free yourself. And it says when a government is able to collect taxes and seize property without just compensation. Now, hold on. What are they talking about? They're referring back to the Constitution that preserves, secures, and protects your rights, because nothing can be taken from you without just compensation. So it says, however, when a government is able to collect tax and seize property without just compensation, it is an indication that the public is ripe for surrender and is consenting to enslavement and legal encroachment. A good and easily quantified indicator of harvest time is the number of public citizens who do pay income tax despite an obvious lack of reciprocal or honest service. Oh, I think that's where we're at. That's how they know. When people just do that, allow people to encroach. But what happens is, if you're doing it and you teach your children that it's to be done and they teach their children that, now you're looking at generations of this. It's a curse, quite frankly. I'll call it a generational curse in that respect that must be broken. So they're telling you, yeah, this is what we put into effect to happen. And we know when it's right. Remember, Anna, how we tell people, listen, they go into think tanks. They look at, all, like, for instance, they look at all the stuff that we Moors are doing in terms of approaching the so-called judicial matters in a corporate venue, meeting room, pretending with the black robes on, high priests and priests, to be a judicial function, when it really isn't. So, right. So they say, hey, they keep doing it, because we give them that power. But here's the deal. Some of you may be saying, well, what do you mean we give them a power? Yeah, you give them a power they don't have. Well, what do you mean we do that? Because the only reason we do it is because we don't know. We lack the knowledge. And then when we say study to get knowledge, it's like, duh, But that's why they do what they do.
That's right. And you know what? And I'm going to yield with this. If we was truly studying, as the Prophet told us to, now we just finished reading this book, White Cargo. White Cargo laid out the first corporation the first company to come over here and engage the Virginia Company. That was back in, I want to say, 1600. People, they're still the Virginia Company today. All right? And out of the Virginia Company comes all of the other companies that are called states or commonwealths. I don't care if they're called states or commonwealths. They are companies. They say that there's a federal government. Federal in their own statutes, they say that the federal government is a federal corporation. So they're a corporation. If you look at the history of how they even came over here and how they set up shop, they tell you they are a company. So whenever you hear the word state, federal, municipal, you need to replace it with company. Whenever you hear the word president, governor, mayor, you need to replace that with just simply corporate employees. That's all they are. It doesn't matter what their title is. Like people get all, beside themselves when they, Donald Trump is the president of Trump Corporation. Guess what? He's still an employee. It doesn't matter what his title is. He's still an employee. I got pulled over by the police or the policy enforcer. No, you got detained by an employee of a corporation. That's what they started at, and that is what they are today. Now, people are sitting here talking about, well, I went to the store and I bought some meat that was approved by the FDA, USDA. Both of those are corporations. And the FDA's job is to make sure that the businesses that are established can generate revenue. Everything about these corporations is about generating revenue. None of them have control over you. And for anybody to even bring up a claim or an argument about a company having jurisdiction over you in a non-commercial capacity demonstrates a gross lack of information, because there is such a thing as ultravirus. Ultravirus is just common sense. It says that no flesh and blood being can ever enter into any contractual obligation with a fiction. Got to be an agreement between one flesh and blood to another flesh and blood. Otherwise, it is void. So when Donald Trump just put in his travel ban, he can only be talking about employees of various corporations. When they put out the Trading with the Enemies Act, they can only be talking about employees of corporations who do not insure. Corporations on this land, Moroccan American landmass, are not able to continue generating revenue, and they are somehow hindered. That is what that is about. The people's obligation, what they are bound to do, is to function in a non-commercial capacity, speaking on behalf of their secured liberty. If you do not speak in terms of your secure, because didn't nobody give you liberties, but they damn sure enough did secure it. It's secured on a national level in the Moroccan American Constitution, and it's secured on an international level in the rights of indigenous people and the rights in the Declaration on Human Rights. Read them, you will see that they are very similar. So your job, your obligation as a people is to do exactly what Bob Romney said to do and get up off your ass and Islam.
Wow. Wait. Oh, I got to add one more thing, and then I'm going to yell. Hey, that is great, because I'm finding through correspondence and different emails people send that the people's general mindset now is, I need to learn commerce. At the same time, they're talking about securing their allodial, their natural liberties. And I'm like, wait, the two don't mix. The two do not mix. And they're mixing it, and they think that this is what they have to do because these are corporations operating on your ancestral estate of the natural flesh and blood beings. They're, as you said, they're corporations, but they've managed to get us to believe that. Now, let me say this. This is because, okay, and this is a thing they say. They say that the primary reason why people of any country would create a political structure is a subconscious wish or desire to perpetuate their own dependency relationship of childhood. You know, like where they have the artificial womb, because they know the objective of the artificial womb is to provide what they call stable, but it's really an unstable environment after you come out of your mama's womb. So they're trying to make artificial wombs so you can feel secure. Now, as a result of looking for dependency relationships similar to childhood, people end up hiring the politicians to face the reality for them. You see what I'm saying? So this is where you come in as being autonomous, because you are born free. You are born with these liberties. As you said, no one can give them to you, nor can they take them away. So you need to walk in that first before you decide to associate or contract with anything or anybody. But for some reason, the people think that in order to preserve, exercise, or effectuate their liberties that they're born with and no one gave them, they have to do it through a commercial venue. Somebody's out there telling the Moors that and confusing. What did it say earlier? The more confusion, the better the profit, right? And they're confusing these issues, And so now they're struggling to learn all about commerce and not realizing that they're mixing apples with the oranges, that they'll never be able to walk in the same place like that. And so here we're saying, look, you can't effectuate your liberties or recognize when your rights have been violated if you don't even know what they are. And if you think that they're vested any way, shape, form, or fashion in commercial processes or commercial activities, then you are lost. And what you need to do is, at minimum, read the Constitution that only preserves them, because that's a beginning. People say, where do I begin? That's a beginning to keep an arm's length of knowing that, like you said, the articles are for what corporations can and cannot do. The Bill of Rights are for preserving your stuff, and all your stuff ain't even in there. And if it's not in there, no one has jurisdiction over it. It clearly says that in the Constitution document itself, and you're just using it to keep an arm's length, because that's why the prophet said, enforce it so, Prophet Noble Jirali said, enforce it so that you're not molested by these what? Other citizens, which are what? Corporations. They're subject citizens, not you. So when you do this and you don't want to face these realities, what happens is a nation then becomes divided into two, this is what's written too, what I'm going to read here, to two very distinct parts, a docile subnation and a political subnation. You see? So even if you're trying to be free and natural, you're docile as hell, because you don't even know your daggone rights and how you're supposed to walk upon this earth plane, these green pastures that you are the law manifested in the flesh. Please, really. So you're docile, a docile subnation, and then the political subnation. And what happens is the political subnation, because you have them speak for you, you give them the power to speak for you, right? Then the political subnation remains attached to the docile nation, tolerates it, and leeches. That's where the vampirism comes in. Leeches its substance until it grows strong enough to detach itself and devour its parent. And that's what's happening. So you're docile. That's why the prophet said, wake up, you sleepy-headed Moors. And lastly, and I believe that is the last thing that I wanted to pull out based on these conversations that we're having here in the reference to the King Alfred that you brought up in my mind. Every divine law governs all events, because I have been really looking into that. But what we got to get clear is, Bill of Rights 1, you have the right to associate or not. That means you have a right to contract or not. You have a right to join and associate anything you wish to. But we're saying to you, enter as a Moor, and if you choose to leave, leave as a Moor. Your duty is to first be who you are, and then traverse and have your experiences. But if you're looking for, you know, if you're trying to find, oh, I'm going to be who I am because, you know, this big, this sub-nation, really, that's leeching off of you and your ancestral estate has grown so big that they're about to eat me up now. Why? Because you're docile, because you're asleep. Wake up, you sleepy-headed Moors. Islam.
Islam. Over to you, sons.
I'm taking notes. I go over to Cujo right now. I'm like, damn.
Well, I'll say this. I will say this. You know, even Noble Drew Ali mentioned commerce, but it wasn't in the context how these people are expressing it either. So don't look at, you know, commerce as something that, you know, has nothing to do with us. The fact that you think your nationality has something to do with it is what we're looking at. You know, it's like with corporations. Nothing's wrong with corporations, you know, if you know who founded it. You know, Moor Science Temple is a corporation. There's no issue with the corporation. But if you have backwards people running it, that's where you have the problems. You know, like you were saying earlier, people that get pulled into the games, most of the time it's because they lack knowledge. Which is why this information has to be something that you look at as life altering, not at the moment. You know, even going back to the whole thing with the health. You know, like there was definitely some blockages when it came to being conscious but not having the right diet. You know, so and that's on the level of just being conscious. So when we're talking about, you know, the whole nationality aspect, and you know, with Drew Ali saying that it's divine and national and things like that, then you know, it should be in the interest of the people to be as close to harmony, nature, you know, spirituality, you know, universal laws, whatever else, as possible. You know, to be close to nature as possible would be to be, you know, vegetarian, vegan. You can't get closer to nature than that. On top of that, you're on this information, you're going to tap into some things within yourself just because your vibrational frequency is in harmony with the information because you're vegetarian. And it's factual that, you know, having less red meat in your diet changes your energy, changes how you think, changes how you react to things. Because there's vibration and energy and, you know, abilities in everything that we can inherit. Like they used to say in the islands that, you know, you eat cassava to make your skin tough. You eat cassava because you're going to be doing so much, you know, labor as far as hands in the dirt or building something or whatever, that you want to be able to grab that wood with your palm and not get splinters. You want to be able to take a hammer to the finger, and it's not going to stop you from getting the job done. Just from food that you eat. It's like we were saying that, when I went back, you have people eating Snickers bar and Pepsi for lunch, right? But when we were coming up, you'll have a belly full mango. And a belly full mango is like a mango like the size of, almost the size of a volleyball. Naturally that big. And it's called belly full because that's all you need is one of those for the day. You're good. One mango, that's all you eat all day. But you're not getting that with the processed or the not natural foods, because it's lost so much of its nutrients that you have, the amount of stuff you have to eat processed to get whatever nutrients you're trying to get, you wouldn't be able to eat that much stuff. But it all goes back again to realizing that all these things are connected. What you put in your body is going to have an effect on what's in your mind. How are you perceiving things in your mind? I remember, I can't remember who it was that was talking about, but they were talking about like one of the things. I used to be a chips fan. When you used to eat whatever, I used to be a chips fan. And I can't remember watching something, and then they were breaking down how, people who eat chips have anger problems because of the crunching. And the crunching is them getting their anger out. Anything that's crunchy. And then you put that in the context, I was just eating chips. So what about people who eat fried chicken all the time? How angry are they? On top of that now, you have, like we're saying, that's not even chicken that you're eating. Back in the day, if you want chicken, you chase that fowl down, take the head off, pluck it, gut it, and then you have chicken. That's not chicken you're getting now. The fish that you're getting now is not fish that came in from a hook or whatever. That's net fish. And the more we get in tune, the more things you're going to be forced to change things. You know what I mean? Like, I remember getting off of, even getting off of meat. When you started to get off of meat, you started realizing stuff more. You're starting to go with meat, and now you're realizing that, hey, how come there's little black stuff in the meat package? I never seen that before. How come these people who are cooking meat, they're putting it right next to the thing? That's not too sanitary. But when you ate meat, you didn't even pay attention to those stuff. It didn't even matter. It didn't even matter that dude's cutting your meat up with his bare hands. Go in the back, come back out, give you your stuff, and you're not even concerned. But when you get health conscious, you become conscious of everything. You really take into consideration things a lot more. When you stop eating meat, you realize, damn, when I was eating meat, all I did was eat out. Now, we grew up on a lesson that, hey, regardless how whatever tastes, I can trust my hand. Because I know that I made that. I know that when I go into a kitchen to cook something for myself, there's a certain level of cleanliness and things that are going to happen. There's not going to be question or something I'm wondering, yeah, did that person do that or whatever? You know, half of that is why we even said, you know what, forget that, eating out and all that. Because you can't even trust that. And again, if you're going back into raising your vibration and all that, now you're starting to think about these people who are making your food. Where are they at in their life, in their mind?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where is this guy at that's making my pizza or my sandwich or my whatever? You know? What's going on in this lady's house that has this restaurant that, you know, we go there and we get, you know, a jerk pork or whatever. It tastes so good, finger licking. But, you know, you always have this pain in your hip or whatever. You don't know how you got this pain. But you go to this restaurant, you know, this lady, she'll smile at you or whatever, but behind closed doors, you got problems. Putting all those problems and all that food that she's cooking for all these people who have this hip problem, and nobody not realizing what's going on. You know, then you go into grander levels, then you get into, okay, well, damn, if I'm questioning what this chef or whatever's going on in their life, what's going on in this guy's life who's about to operate on me right now? What's going on in this dentist's life going in my mouth and all that? What type of energy is emitting from his fingers as he's cleaning my teeth? You know, so changing your food intake to something more in harmony with nature is going to change your vibration mentally. And that would assist in, you know, I mean, if we take a tally, how much, you know, if we take a tally and really see how many people got played with UCC, capture the straw man, whatever. Pretty sure 60-70% of those people were meat eaters. Maybe more than that. Just because that's how low the vibration of capture the straw is. And the only thing that would have you on a vibration that low is some beef teriyaki or something. Some oysters. And even too, when I think about how did we even get onto going vegetarian and all that? And it was the slaughterhouse videos. You just watch the slaughterhouse videos. And I think it was somebody that put us onto that. Oh, you want to be vegetarian? Just watch a slaughterhouse video. Like, slaughterhouse video? What the hell are you talking about? You know where they kill the animals or whatever? I was watching that. Watch that for what? Like, just you know, give me that chicken burger. Like, what are you talking about? When you watch some of these videos and you start realizing that animals have feelings and stuff like that, and animals feel pain and they hurt and they have fear and they know when death is coming and all that stuff, it make you change quick fast what you put in your body, especially if you know that it's something that's been suffering and all that stuff. You know, have things alive watching itself die before it goes on your plate. You'll change up quick fast. And trust, as soon as you change up that diet, you're going to realize, you know, dirty more is easier. You're going to realize passive more is easier. You're going to realize more you just stay away from. You know, you're going to pick up on energy. Things are definitely going to be enhanced. You know, but like you were saying, it's not going to be based in it's not going to be based in you not having some conviction in this. You know, you have to be in for the long haul. Like when they say the 10-day no sugar fast. There's people that's doing 10-day fruit fast only right now. You try that 10-day sugar fast and see by the third day you start feeling for sugar. So you can see how serious your sugar problem is. or salt fast or whatever. You know?
Sugar. Let's start with sugar.
Yeah, you know? Like, just start with sugar. You know, and when we say start with sugar, we mean every time you take a spoon or 2 spoons or whatever, you're eliminating those ones. Start with the sugar there. Forget about the sugar in other stuff. Start with the sugar that you can see that you know that's sugar and I'm about to eat it. You know, another way of stop sugar is if you have sweet tooth. Everything that you got sweet tooth, that's not a fruit, don't eat that for 10 days. You know, and you're not gonna make the transition yet. So don't say, oh, sugar fast, and then you're using agave syrup to go sweeten up your stuff. That's still sugar. Like, you have to no sweet stuff. 0. 10 days. It's not long. It's going to seem long, though, when you start feeling for that sugar. You're on the 3rd day. You're waiting for those 7 days to pass. But, you know, by the 6th or 7th day, you should start to feel the difference of you not having it in your system. You know, again, it depends on your sugar intake. But, you know, like I said, like, you know, I had a part of my 50 steps for anger management was not eating chips. You know, put on the chips. Put on anything crunchy. Especially if it's processed crunchy. You know, I'm not talking about apples and stuff like that, fruits or whatever, like processed crunchy stuff. You know what I mean? Fake food that has crunch. You know, when you have when you get down to the bottom of the popcorn stuff and you're eating popcorn kernels and stuff like that, you have anger problems. You know, the burnt ones, those ones, that you got anger problems. And it might not be a negative, it's just something, it's just an acknowledgement that, oh, okay, yeah, that's why. You know. And that because that first maybe because I think we were doing 2-week fast with everything. Was that a 2-week fast or a 3-week fast with everything? I think we were on at that time we were doing Layla Africa's transition program. Was that 2 weeks or 3 weeks? And that was crazy not being able to eat chips. Like actually, you know, coming to the realization that, yeah, I was actually addicted to some chips. Like, what's a real addict? Like, what are they going through? If I'm going through all this for some chips, measly chips, can't even handle that. You know, again, with the meat and things like that, it was cold turkey. As soon as you seen the slaughterhouse videos, that was it. It was done. You know, it was just like high school. As soon as Mr. John did the pork test and the worms came out, that was it. No more pork. Forget that crap. You know what I mean? Just because that's how it registered with me. And we know it's a heavy transition, but it's something that should be considered. You know what I mean? It should be considered. Changing your diet. And again, starting with that sugar fast. 10 days. Try that tea or that coffee black. See how much you like it. No sugar. Still drinkable. Certain things still eatable. But the sugar part is how they get us. We keep coming back for it. The sugar is the glue that keeps us stuck to these bad ways. You know what I mean? And then when you advance, then you start looking for, glucose, fructose, and eliminate anything that has those stuff in it. Because you could really get everything you need from fruits and vegetables, for real. Ask a gorilla, ask an elephant. Chocolate bars and chips and stuff like that. And they get work done. And they just eat grass. That's it. So consider it. Take it into high consideration, especially in these times with the way things are going, and you know what I mean? Depopulation. So that means, they're gonna have to mess with the food. Look into at least starting the process of changing your diet, because it's gonna be we're already there. They got plastic rice and stuff like that. It's already there. We're already at that place where you should be extremely skeptical of everything you put in your mouth if you didn't make it with your hands. Like, you should be second guessing everything you eat that you didn't cook for yourself or cut up for yourself or whatever. Like, I was talking to one of the teachers, and I was eating some cut up fruit. She's like, "Oh, where you get that fruit?" I'm like, "Yeah, I brought my fruits from home or whatever, just cut them up." She's like, "Oh yeah, that's good, because I don't even trust people cutting my fruits up." Right? And she's European. And she's not even about people cutting her fruits up. So forget them cooking for her or whatever. Even though it might just be some boiled chicken or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Or, they can't cook or whatever. They're going to boil their own chicken themselves. Mr. Chin's not going to go buy no chow mein from anybody. He's going to make that himself. Because why go outside? Going back to, nationhood. And when you check all these nations, majority of them, they eat within their culture's boundaries. Only when these international people come over here that they start eating crazy. And a lot of them, where they come from, they're vegetarian, and they come here and they start eating messed up. And it's something that this is something that goes through species. You know, like we joke about the pigeons out here, and they be eating hot dogs and hamburger bun and eating all types of stuff that you don't think birds gonna be enjoying that. They don't care. You know, they've been so strayed away from their natural mindset that I'm a bird, but I'm about to eat this chicken burger. You know, bird eating a chicken burger. You think there's not problems going on? So try your best.
That is pretty funny.
Try your best. Try your best to get yourself, in the right place, and a lot of that starts with how you eat, what you ingest, and just be open-minded. There ain't nothing wrong with being vegetarian and stuff like that. Just like I say, ain't nothing wrong with being a Moor. You don't have to front and say you're all this other stuff. I'm a pescatarian, I'm a whatever-tarian and vegan, and just eat right. Just eat healthy. You know what I mean? Cook for yourself. If you can, grow your own stuff so you don't have to rely on somebody else to provide for you. And we'll be all right. So I use the flow with that.
All right.
Indeed.
Roz, you just I don't remember.
Oh, Kojo had just mentioned about when he said, like, when he saw the test on the pork thing. I saw that a while back too, where you have a piece of pork and and you leave it on your counter and you put a marker, it'll actually move because it has worms in it. He also talked about another little test, but he was talking about when he saw a video, I guess, on how the cows were slaughtered or chickens are slaughtered. And you just told me about slaughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually watching a documentary, and I remember now. This woman went to a slaughterhouse because she was doing some sort of a documentary, and she went to a slaughterhouse, and they took a cow, and they shot something into the base of the spine so it couldn't move. Then, now keep in mind, this cow is alive. They shot something into the base of the spine so it couldn't move, but it's still alive. Then they hosted it up by one leg, while the cow's alive. They cut off 3 of the legs. Then they started to skin the cow. All of this while the cow was alive. They skinned the cow from the one leg hanging, and they pulled the skin all the way down until the skin was flapping over the cow's head, and then they cut off the cow's head.
And then they prepared that for you to buy in the store.
Exactly. All of that, if you think about all of the terror and fear that was coursing through that animal while all of that was going on, and then a human being that has far more circuitries than a cow then consumes it.
Wow.
It's a wonder that we have a society of people who are consumed with fear, paranoia, anger, hate. It all comes. It's all going to manifest from just that, and then the cow. The way that they get the cow to start the whole milking process, which is absolutely abnormal. Keep in mind that cow's milk is full of mucus because it is intended for the cow. So once the cow is pregnant, they take the calf or the baby. If the baby is a male, they chain the male cow to a fence so that from the neck, so it can never really stand up and walk around. Because from this male cow, they will get veal. And apparently veal, even though it's a cow, is because they don't allow it to walk around, it doesn't develop muscle. So it's supposedly a softer flesh. If the cow is female, then the female goes into the same legacy as the mother. It becomes just a breeding animal that is constantly milked by a machine that never knows that there is no milk, and so it will continue to pump out milk even though there's no milk left in the cow. So it starts to pump out blood and pus, and so that gets mixed into the milk. Now, you have to keep in mind, Mr. Kellogg's, he developed the cornflake because prior to the cornflakes, people didn't drink that much milk. And humans, Aboriginal indigenous people, didn't drink milk at all unless it came from mother's breast. So Mr. Kellogg's wanted to move his cornflakes, and so he teamed up with the dairy industry. Cornflakes and milk go together. The dairy industry continued to receive their revenue. Mr. Kellogg's, he received another type of revenue. Now, he ran some sort of a health sanitarium where he felt that eating a vegetarian diet, back then a vegetarian diet did not consist of dairy. But after he passed, they incorporated dairy. So you have to look at a lot of these things. So when people are thinking, oh, I'm gonna capture the straw, and I'm going to make sure that these corporations never make finance off of me, you better be planting your own fruits and vegetables as best you can, because you can grow fruits. You can grow avocado. I've seen people grow avocado. I've seen people grow lemons and limes, blueberries, strawberries. You can grow these things. I know a few people who have grown cantaloupes, melons, and watermelons. So you can grow these things. It's not impossible. So if you really don't want the corporations to eat off of you like you're the steaks on their tables, you better be growing your own fruits and vegetables. You don't want to be going to the so-called physician or practicing physician, high priestess, if you will, because they're going to tell you you got all kind of medical problems. And isn't it interesting that they say, come back and see us every year so we can try and find something wrong with you? And the so-called yearly physical, I know it used to be like $150 for them to sit and look at you, tap you on your back, take your blood pressure, look down your throat, and then send you out the door for the vampires to draw blood and then analyze your blood and tell you what else they could find in your blood. But some of that blood is going to go to their research and development team. So you're still stakes on the table to the corporation. So let's be clear. Capturing a straw and going after a birth certificate, sending back a driver's license and a social security card that you paid for possibly, establishing what you think is a trust, and you have absolutely no idea what a trust is. These things are not going to stop corporations from eating off of you when you voluntarily go into various corporate venues, and you give them money. Here's a good one for all you savvy Moors out there who did the DNA testing, so-called DNA testing. You just gave them not just $200+ and you say you don't want them to make money off of you, capturing your straw. You gave them Federal Reserve notes, and then you gave them your intellectual property, which they now own. But you captured the straw. Ridiculous. And that's why in the King Alfred Plan, they say, look, you're nothing more than stakes on the table. Because the prophet said, study, study, study. If I can just get you to study, you'd have something to think about, and you would free yourself. But you didn't want to do that. You want to go to your homeboy so he could show you how to capture the straw and get a foreign EIN and then establish a trust. So now they cannot make finance off of you anymore. You're good. They can't capture you. They don't have to. You're going to walk through their front doors and give them all kind of access to you, which equates to you just being stakes on the table. If I can just get you to thinking, you would free yourself. But that's all right. Because if you don't want to study and if you don't want to think, there's another prophecy for you. If you don't wake up, the blood is going to run red up to your knees. Ain't going to be too many of you around. Now, N.E. speaking, read the prophecies and the statements, which you should be doing anyways, because see, if you were doing that, then you wouldn't be falling for all of this foolishness. You wouldn't be trying to take the great seal government of the Moroccan Empire, of which you are a lineal descendant of, and then take our documents, which is Great Seal documents, and then you go to employees of a municipal corporation and you have them sign in the wazir say.
Yeah, how about that?
And then you want to tell me that you studied and you was thinking. Right.
Well, what about, now that is extreme right there, especially in the wazir section. Or even having them notarize, or what they call notarize, that they think is a seal, the documents, period, and then sending them.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Something just happened.
Anybody, look, I'm going to say this. For everybody who thought that was a great idea, think. Keyword here is think. Think about this. You will never, ever, ever, ever see any Chinese or Japanese up in a municipal corporation talking about, can you notarize and sign my Chinese Manchurian documents? Never. Never.
National
you
principle.
were studying and you was thinking, and you know all about birthrights, and you know I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna yield. But everybody who thinks that they have declared their nationality, I can tell you, 99.9% of you have not, because declaring your nationality, it simply means to be clear from whence your bloodline comes. Lineal descent bloodline. Are you clear? Are you clear on that? Because if you're not, these foreigners got something for you, because they know where the bloodline comes from. And if you don't know, then they have no problem being your substitute mama.
Mm-hmm. Surrogate mom. Artificial womb. Yeah.
Isn't it in the King Alfred Plan?
Yes, it is.
Right in there. Right in there. They got no problem being your substitute mama since you want to deny your mama. They got no problem being your substitute mama.
Yes. They have it on
Stay on the table.
Mm-hmm.
So, Islam, let's see what time we got here. It's 11 o'clock. Miss, do you want to chime in before we open up the lines?
Yeah, briefly. Yeah, I'm just saying I didn't want to be the one that's fronting. I had some salmon earlier, okay? And I know it's not supposed to be a choice, but anybody on here for no hypocrite, nothing. You know what I'm saying? But
you've been talking about
it's a work in progress, man. It's a work in progress.
Whole week you've been talking about not eating out and cooking food in the house, so it's right up your alley.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. There's certain restaurants I just can't do anymore. It's certain places I'm just like, again, I had a piece of salmon earlier, and it's a big difference between the home-cooked salmon and what you get at the restaurant that's processed. It's not even real, let alone that it's farm-raised. It's not even real. So there's certain places that I literally just get sick from eating from because it's just like, this is the vibration, like Cujo was saying. Who's the cook? Can I meet the cook? Can I, you know what I mean? Who's the chef? Like, who are those people? Because you go into restaurants and you got favorite restaurants, but you never met the chef or the cook. And it's like, one time the food tastes good, next time, you don't know who cooked it or anything like that. But I think that, one of the biggest aspects to also start looking at that aspect of eating is understanding natural land, because certain environments, they like, you're talking about growing food. Like, they've never seen it before because there's nothing but concrete around them. So they can't relate to growing food. They like, look, I'm about to go to the corner store and get the 4-piece wing, because there's no land. And I think that is a major part of us getting back to eating on that frequency is also, being in the environments of natural land. And this is another area where the Europeans are, quote unquote, economically beating us out, because they're actually, benefiting off of our ancestral estate. And I say that for certain because this past summer, being down in so-called Virginia, these Europeans are not playing. When we say that they literally, they didn't steal the land, they like took over it because the land is immovable. It can't go anywhere, but that they're utilizing it for a very strong advantage for themselves and their families. That's a true statement, because they operate in places you can't catch a train to, a plane to, or a bus to. And, they are definitely maximizing their experience on the land. They have a place, what was it? It was a winery by the Pamunkey River, so-called Virginia. And, as far as you can see, just acres and acres and acres, is nothing but grapevines. So they are providing food for themselves based off of somebody else's ancestral estate or ancestral lands. But that's how they do it in the South anyway. It's so abundant. This land is so abundant, that it's a shame that we don't get to see the benefits of it via just living in the city, our whole lives and things like that. For most people, some people, whatever. You don't really get to see like that process of creation, that process of nature, knowing that every year at a certain time, certain crops are going to come back and yield fruit and give you life-sustaining, nutrients and things like that. All of that is beautiful. But again, like I said, man, you talk to somebody who doesn't know anything but the city life, it doesn't even register. They're like, we're going to go out to eat. We're going to get this food from the restaurant. And it's like, the meals are so important in many different aspects, not just for your own health benefits, but what about that being the reason to unite family? Because, everybody has things to do. Everybody is working. But I think that's a common cause that everybody will come around. You know what I mean? Like, you got people who don't eat turkey or any of that. But when Thanksgiving come around and they know everybody's eating, it's a time for union and harvest. It's just, by nature, it just brings everybody together. So, I mean, there's multiple health benefits in eating home, and not eating the commercialized foods, because, you open up more aspects of healing besides just the food, the unity of family, those attributes of eating in or eating home or whatever, or growing food, etc. It's just so many attributes that have potentials to heal things. So, I just wanted to point that out. That's my piece on it. There are places where, I mean, you don't see any buildings, or how it'd be one building in a whole bunch of land, and no matter how big the building is, like, it always looks small because there's so much land and no neighbors. And you be like, damn, that house is not big enough for all of this land. But it's more than sufficient. It's just that the land is the true value. Everything is built on that. And it's I want to say, like, the earth is almost like a magician, because you're dealing with transmuting potentials into manifestations, from seeds to actual fruits that still bear seeds. So, like, we was on some land out by the Palmonkey River, and like I said, it's just as far as you could see, nothing but grapevines. And then down the road they grow something else, and then up the road they grow something else, and that's how they sustain themselves off of products from the natural land. So that's something that you can look at for why is there economic advantage amongst pilgrims that doesn't seem to be amongst the Aborigines, and everything goes back to environment, So you can't, I mean, yeah, we all seen, the elder woman of the community growing her tomatoes and all of that in a small section or a patch of land, or, had things going in the windowsill. But I'm talking about, like, when you're talking about, like, 20 football fields of just produce, that would change your perspective if you was living in that every day, abundantly. So, that's my piece on it. And for now, I yield the floor. Islam?
All right, Islam. Well, let's open up the lines and see what our listening audience has to say about this particular subject matter. If you have a comment, question, or concern, press 1 on your telephone dial, and we'll take the calls in the order we receive them. So we have caller 313-412. You're live on the air. Please state your affiliation at Northwest American. Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Islam.
Hello. This is Eunice Isis L. Bay. I want to get to know more information about this. Because I know I'm a Moor, but I want to know more information about this movement so I can grasp it and get it all together. So I'd like to know, where can I start this at? Islam.
Are you familiar with your personal like birth record and birth chart and stuff like that, your natal chart and all that?
No, I'm not.
All right, so astrology would be somewhere to go because you want to make sure that you're spiritually grounded before anything else. You know, especially if we're coming, spiritually grounded.
What do you mean by that?
Have you ever you're taking notes?
Took it. Oh.
Are you taking notes?
No. Oh, am I taking notes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna program this number into my phone and be. Yeah, I'm taking notes now.
So you can look up 42 laws of Ma'at. The number 42. Laws.
Just one moment. Yeah. Okay, what you say?
42.
42.
Laws. Of Ma'at. M-A''AT.
M-A''AT.
A-T.
A-T.
Ma'at.
Okay.
And then read through those and see if you can find 10 of those that sound similar to the 10 Commandments. And after you find the 10 Commandments, then you know where the 10 Commandments came from.
Okay.
But then when you also read those, understand that unlike the 10 Commandments, those are giving you responsibility. So the 10 Commandments tells you thou shalt not do something, and laws of Ma'at says I shall not do something. So read through those a couple times, and when you read through that, that would also let you know, because Ma'at, you're going to look that up. And when you look up Ma'at, you're going to realize that she dealt with law, which is what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
So you can embrace learning this information so that you don't look at law as some European creation. That your ancient foremothers and forefathers brought law to the earth plane.
Okay.
So, and when we talk about being spiritually grounded, we have in the teachings that Noble Drew Ali brought us, he makes reference to us having two selves, a higher self and a lower self.
Mm-hmm.
So majority of us in our life, we have lived our life from our lower self.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a higher self that we never even had a conversation with or was introduced to or even know that exists. So you can also do research on higher self, third eye, things like that, just to get a better perspective of you know, spirituality and where you're supposed to be spiritually.
Okay.
Because you know, like we were talking about earlier, you know, there's an element that exists that its purpose is to keep you confused.
Yeah.
But the only reason that people are confused is because they're not spiritually grounded before they get into this information.
Okay.
If they would,
and one
they would
other
take
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
And one other question. I had sent off on my traveling card, and I never got it. I got my identification card, my nationality card, but I never got my traveling card.
What is your appellation?
ISIS Anna Elbey.
Oh yeah. I thought it was Isuana Ill. Is that it? Out of
That's it.
Yeah. Well, that's because you didn't answer the email. Don't print out cards until I sent you the draft, and you have to.
I couldn't find it. What'd you say? I couldn't find the email.
Well, I'll send it again for you, but I sent it. It's funny that you should say that. I'm going to tell you how divine law governs all events. I was looking through stuff because I have a lot of cards and stuff where people keep complaining, talk about they didn't get this and they didn't get that. And a lot of times it's because, you know, they didn't provide an email or they didn't answer the email because I'm not printing anything until it's approved. So it's funny because just today I was looking at this thing and I came up with and I said, well, should I just mail this anyway? And I know better to not do that because every time I do that, it's always a problem. So I'll send it again to Pachiko Yahoo address and to that and say it's fine, then I will print it immediately and mail it. All right?
Okay.
All right.
Which email you get?
Pachiko 37.
Pachiko 3017.
Yeah.
At yahoo.com.
That's the one.
Okay.
You'll send it. I'll send it again because it was a while ago. But yeah.
Okay, you can send it to. He said that email got so much on it. He's gonna give you another email to send it to.
Well, I'll tell you what. You don't have to give me that over the air. How about if you email me with it, and then I'll email. That way, I'll know I have it right. So just email me and request what you're looking for. So RVBey.netcard@gmail.com, and then I will know sure and send it right back to whatever it is. All right?
What'd you say? Say RVBey.
RVBey card NATCARD @gmail.com. That's the only email for carding with. Because that's
I couldn't hear that. Just send it back to Chico.
Well, okay, I'll do. You sure you want me to do that, or just have you send me an email to rvbeynatcard@gmail.com, and then we'll go right. And then I'll.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's,
all right. RV net card.
No, RVBey net card.
RVBey net card.
At Gmail. Yeah.
At Gmail.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Research. I'm going to do my research. We'll start from there with the young man said. I'm going to start from there, and I will be listening to your line.
All righty. Thank you so much for your call.
It's moorishempire@gmail.com.
Say that again.
moorishempire@gmail.com.
That's your email?
Yeah, that's my email.
Okay. All right.
This is a core Euro Nupata Hato Ali Bay. I got my nationality card for you guys too, and I got my travel card, and I got my student card. I'm just getting my wife together.
Oh, all right. So moorishempire@gmail.com. All right, I'm familiar with that. All right.
All righty. Thank you so much for your call. Peace.
All right.
Peace.
All right. Caller 425-761.
Yeah, right there. I didn't even hear you. Yeah, I made your last phone.
All righty. That's a lot of noise. Let's go on to the next one. Caller 313-854. You're live on the air. Islam, caller 313-854.
Sorry, that's her number. I hit my phone on, and she hit her phone on.
All righty. Thank you. All righty. Caller 206-775. You're live on the air.
Islam Morris. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Peace. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Mariam Bey. How are you this evening?
Fine.
Great.
I just wanted to share my experience with, I want to say thank you and much love and respect to you, Empress Roz. You inspired me to, I was listening to you one day and you said to do a dry fast. And I was like, whoa, I can't do that. And then you said if you can't do a dry fast, then do a juice fast or do a water fast. So I did a juice fast. And
that was Anna E. that did that. That was Sister Anna E.
Said that?
Yeah, that was her that gave you those instructions. She's on the line. But go ahead.
Oh, much respect to you. I did it. I did a juice fast, 14 days. The first one I did was 14 days, and I did 10 days, and I did 6 days. Anyway, it changed my life. No, I mean, like, I got my juice. Like, what are you doing? Because it's not like I just did a fast. I stopped eating all the junk, all the garbage, because it started to be really disgusting. Like, after you don't eat that stuff for 14 days, because you don't even want it. What are you doing?
You're breaking. I think you're breaking up.
Me? I'm sorry.
I think you're breaking. You're breaking up.
Islam.
She's breaking up. I'm going to drop out.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Now,
yeah.
How about now?
Oh, great.
That's better.
Can you hear me now?
Better.
Yes?
Yes.
Perfect. So, people keep asking me how hard was it, how did you do it? And it was hard, I'm not going to lie, and I was really fortunate to have my husband do it with me, so we were able to support each other because not just the fast, but also just not eating the meat and not eating the dairy, not eating the processed food, not eating the sugar. I don't think I've ever thought more clearly, or I've never concentrated this well. Even I can see, I can see differently, better, sharper. It's actually kind of bizarre, and if it wasn't for the fact that my husband's telling me the same thing, I think I'm crazy. And I have so much energy. So thank you I really challenged myself. I pushed myself. I took it there because, no food, 14 days, just juice, It was like, it was a mental thing,
Mhm. All right.
Feeling like, and I think that it's for everybody. It's definitely for our people. It's for everybody, but definitely for us.
All right. Absolutely.
So I yield the floor
Well,
with that. Thank you so much for taking my call.
All righty. Peace and love. Thank you for that. What I don't want to call it a testation because I know what that means.
Oh, you know what? Maybe may I ask a question also that you I heard you mention
Sure.
herbs and natural herbs that you would recommend. Could you recommend? I mean, it's not.
You're breaking up again. You're breaking up again.
Oh. I'm going to yield the floor. I don't want to keep stuck in the phone call.
All righty. Well, peace and love, and
thank you so much.
Thank you
peace.
So much for peace. That was great. All righty, caller.
Exactly, right in tune with the discussion about food. Yeah, wonderful.
Yes, it was. Okay. It was a wonderful. I got to come up with another word for attestation or testimony because that doesn't apply to females at all. So got to come up with another one. I have to think about that one. So I'm thinking we'll go to the next caller. Caller 682-702. You're live on the air. Please state your appellation at Northwest New Mexico.
Islam. This is Easy. Islam. It's Easy Amir RVBey calling out of Texas Corporation, Northwest New Mexico, near the Texas Corporation. Yeah, like the other sister said, the diet, not the diet, but the fast was good. I did it for 10 days. And I thought it was gonna be it was kind of hard, but I was still able to cut grass. I was going through the whole day cutting grass. Only thing I can say is be careful what water you select, because a lot of the waters are acidic nowadays. So try to get your alkaline test and do test. A lot of these waters are acidic, especially in the bottles. I just want to show my appreciation to everybody on the line. NIE, it's good to hear you back. Cool Joe, Ross, is. Just want to tell you thanks, Cool Joe, for that John Albert Bird, that reference. I looked him up. Dude created the double blade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was good right there. Try to create me something, too. Try to do that. But I just wanted to give another reference out for the vegans. Gardein has good products. If you're trying to replace a lot of stuff, they got a lot of replacements, like as far as fish, and they got a great meatless beef. Now, I was just wondering about the meatless beef. You think that's processed? Because we cook with that a lot, and spaghetti and
meatless.
All the
meatless beef is really just texturized protein, and some of them you can make yourself, because I tried that. I did it at least one time. I wanted to see if I could make my own processed texturized vegetable protein, and you can. But what I would suggest you do is if you don't have a dehydrator, get one.
Dehydrator?
A dehydrator, because what you can do is I used to make what's called a raw veggie burger, and what you would do is you would either do sunflower seeds, which is the quickest to sprout. I used to take sunflower seeds, but you can do other seeds. You would soak it in water and then just drain it and let it sprout. Usually within like 7 days, you got some plants growing out, shooting out. Something is shooting out. Then you take that and you put it in a food processor with like onions, tomatoes, garlic. And I juiced carrot, so I didn't throw the pulp from the carrot away. I would bag it up and put it in the freezer. So I would take a bag out, depending on how much I want to put in, and I would throw that in, and I would throw in some spinach, and then I would put in some salt and pepper and some other spices, depending on what type of a flavor I was going for. And I would grind it up until it looked like a pate. And then I would form it into patties and put it on the dehydrator and let it dehydrate, depending to, what kind of moisture level I wanted it. And that was my meat.
Oh, okay. Had to look into
and then
that.
What you can also do, what I used to also do is I would buy like the big portobello mushrooms, and I would fill the portobello mushrooms with that same pate and put those in the dehydrator. And I would then, when I wanted to eat it, I would take some romaine lettuce, wrap and cut it up and put it inside the romaine lettuce with onions and alfalfa sprouts and tomatoes, and roll it up, and that was my meal. You can also do that with collard greens and cabbage. It all depends on the texture. It doesn't have to look like a hamburger, but when you bite into it and close your eyes, it can taste very good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. So you don't think the Gardein is safe for now, or there's
No, I have used the Gardeins. But I want it to be more natural, independent, and not have to go in. For me, the less I have to go into a store, the better it is for me. And you also got to keep in mind that whether it's Gardein, they have another one called corn. It's Quorn, something like that. It's an orange package. Right, Quorn or corn.
Yeah.
Corn, but whether it's Boca or what's the other one that I
Beyond the Meat.
No. Ross, what's the one that you always buy? I can't. Morningstar.
Oh, yeah.
All of these are good, but they're all transition from meat to a plant-based diet. They're transitional. Now, for those of you who like Morningstar products, they're really, really, really good, but you need to always read the ingredients, because some of them have egg white.
GMO.
Or eggs. And if you don't, and it used to be back in the day, because, back in the day we didn't have Google, the internet had not arrived yet, so we had to walk with a food additive dictionary. So if you can't pronounce it, you need to Google it. If you don't know what it is, you need to Google it, because a lot of I'm telling you, the entire food industry thinks that people are just stupid, and that's why they can put on their labels things like natural flavoring, and the flavor came from the butt of a beaver. Anything berry, strawberry, blueberry, raspberry, any berry flavoring comes from the butt of a beaver. So you might want to rethink eating anything that's got blueberry or any kind of berry, strawberry, blueberry, raspberry, elderberry, any kind of berry, don't even mess with it. And then you have to look at the ingredients of the foods, because back in the day, Jiffy corn muffin and Ritz crackers, they had an ingredient called lard. I worked in a grocery store, so I discovered what lard is. Crisco oil used to be 100% lard. Now they say it's 100% vegetable oil. Well, who really knows when you're dealing with lying corporations?
Yeah.
If you can make it yourself, like a lot of these people are switching from dairy. And I know back in the 80s when I was taking a marketing class, I did a report on how the dairy industry was about to take a huge hit, because back in the 80s, people were looking for alternative forms of dairy products. Here we are, 2017, you go into the store, you can get soy milk, almond milk, coconut milk, cashew milk. And more people are taking that type of a milk, hemp milk. They're not choosing the cow's milk, because the cow's milk produced numerous medical problems. But we don't need milk, because we're the only species on planet Earth that continue to drink milk after we're weaned off of the breast. We're the only species that does that. That's not normal. So if you're going to do milk, then you want to look. One of the best milks that you can make yourself, and it is the closest to breast milk, is coconut milk. You can make that yourself, because here's the thing: a lot of the soy, coconut, almond, cashew, hemp milk that they're now selling in the stores, those are also made by corporations that are doing nothing but profiting off of you. So you have to look at those ingredients as well. Now, I'm not saying that you should go to your refrigerator after this broadcast and start throwing stuff out. That would be ideal. I did that.
I tried that at first.
But
I was hungry.
Everything is a process, and you want to transition. And if your if your finance is tight, then don't throw it away. You don't need to feel guilty. Just know that when you go to the store again, you might buy something else. Or you might just buy a coconut and say, if you got a blender, you can buy a coconut and make your own coconut milk. It's cheaper. You know exactly what's in there, and you know what's not in there. And a coconut these days costs about $1.
You just put it straight in the blender?
Well, you got to cut it up. You got to, and you know what? Google it. You can Google it. It's on YouTube. Plenty recipes on YouTube about how to make your own coconut milk, how to make your own almond milk, how to make your own sesame seed milk. There's no reason why people can't be self-sustaining right now. See, the goal is to be self-sustaining once again, because that's how our ancestors used to live. And Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, well, we're supposed to go back to the mindset of our foremothers and forefathers. That means that we're supposed to be self-sustaining. All right? So think about it, plan for it, and then make it happen. Islam?
Islam.
All right. Peace and love. You got another question?
Yeah, I got one more question, two more questions.
All right.
I was saying I didn't want to take up too much time, but I heard the last show she was saying about the bubble envelope. And I think I had sent the proclamation in a bubble envelope. Was there something wrong with the bubble envelope?
No, there was nothing wrong with it. That was a personal issue having nothing to do with the process or anyone else.
Oh. Easy issue.
All right.
Yeah. Nothing was wrong with it. Yeah. It's
a personal issue. All right?
All
right.
Do you know the estimated time on that?
On what?
On the proclamation papers?
Well, we're processing them now. And what we're doing is as soon as we process and preparing for mailing, we're sending out an email letting everybody know. So you should be getting an email sometime this week.
All right. Cool.
All right?
Islam.
All right. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. All right. Caller 901-483. You're live on the air. Please state your appellation at Northwestern Maxim.
Islam. I am Kamari Bey at Morocco, Tennessee territory.
Islam.
Islam. So I'm listening in. You know, I listen in on a regular basis or whatnot, and it's funny that the discussion this evening was about the food and people's diet, because where I am now, you know, and as far as where I am mentally and spiritually as well, I've been trying to focus more on eating better and getting my diet right. Although I'm in between a rock and a hard place right now, because I'm being held hostage. So what can I do? Because they feed us crap. You know, they feed us, everything's processed, everything is nonsense that they give us to feed us. But what can I do as far as what can I eat or put into my body that will sustain me as I am on this journey and fighting this fight? Is there anything y'all could tell me or what?
Well, you don't have any choice at this point. You don't have any choice. You're being held hostage. And see, the thing about being held hostage, and I've said this for years, and I said it years and years ago, you need to learn to discipline yourself before you get into a situation where your options are limited. And that's where we are. So it's kind of difficult or challenging to tell you anything at this stage of the game, because you don't have a refrigerator that you can voluntarily go to, and you don't have a grocery store that you can go to.
Right. I mean, I try to, you know, I try to order things as far as oatmeal, peanut butter, things of that nature. Like the brother was saying earlier, as far as the sugar, I'm trying to stay away from the sugar, because I also drink coffee, and I find myself, I started out with 2 packs of sugar, and now I'm at 5 packs of sugar. So I'm taking heed to what he said as far as the sugar goes and all of that. As far as the meat go, I eat tuna. I'm trying to wean myself off of the tuna, and I don't eat pork at all. You know, but that's what I'm at.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
You're not home.
Yeah. True.
You're a prisoner.
True.
You don't have choice. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to look at your options and do the best that you can.
Because the reason why I say that is because within these past few weeks, I've seen 3 guys that resemble myself drop dead. And just 2 weeks ago, they let this guy lay on the ground lifeless for like 6 hours as these Europeans stood over him laughing and joking like, ha, 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 another one of you such and such are dead, you know. So I'm like, I'm not trying to be one of those guys in here laying out dead, you know.
Well, then the only thing you can do is you can look at what your options are, meaning whatever is presented to you, and you're going to have to make a decision that's going to preserve you until you're free. That's all you can do at this stage, because you're not home.
Because you're not home. But I can say that since it seems like he's ordering and getting to order certain things, like I think he said cream of wheat or cream of Or oatmeal.
Yeah, I order oatmeals. Yeah, things of that nature.
But cream of what is it? Cream of
oatmeal. They
right.
have oatmeal and peanut butter. Oatmeal and peanut butter are that's government subsidized food.
Yeah, it is.
Right. Oh, okay. Then he can't just get anything he wants. Only what's on that list, because I was
right. Only what's on that sheet are maybe. And being that they have labeled me as well, so they have me isolated as well. So that I'm only given a small window or a small sheet of things that I am able to order. But as far as from that sheet that I'm able to order from, I'm trying to, at least out of the options that I'm given, still eat as best I can from the option I have, you know?
Okay, do they have cream of buck on your list instead of cream of wheat?
No.
Not
subsidized.
That's better.
Yeah,
okay.
They just have oatmeal as far as that, instant oatmeal like that. So.
Ooh. All right, well, like you said,
yeah.
You don't have choices, unfortunately. Islam.
Islam.
Alrighty, peace and love.
Yeah.
All right. Now, unless we have another caller, this is our last caller. Oh, wait a minute. Well, I guess we don't have a last caller. Looks like our last caller put a hands down. All right. We have no more callers. If there's anyone who would like to ask questions, here we go. Call us 469-215. You're live on the air. Please state your appellation at Northwestern Langston.
Hear me?
Yes, Mom. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I hear the affirmations, and I know that they've gone through a process. I have not, so I don't want to be disrespectful. I really don't know how to present myself right now because I've been bombarded with information over the past 4 days, and I'm just trying to organize all of my thoughts on everything that I've been enlightened about. This is my first call. I just happened to find it on the RVBey publications, and I just wanted to say thank you. I got in late. I'm in Central Time, and I set my alarm outside of your time zone, but I did get a lot of information. So,
and you can download the archive and listen to it from the beginning for free.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The archives go back to 2013?
I don't even know. And we have
2013. The archives go back to 2013. You can download them, and they're free.
And then
okay.
And
awesome.
You should listen to the archives of the program we have called Sisters Standing on Law. That will be very helpful because we actually break down a lot of things, but we break down the law of the land, which is the concept in there too. You could just listen, so you don't have to set your alarm. You could just listen to all of them.
Oh, I have corrected every last one of them because they're all on this. I don't even know what page I was on, but it kind of lists the classes that you have. I think it was about 4 or 5. And I put them all in my phone on Central Time now, so I can catch the one tomorrow. I do have a question, if that's okay. I don't know how much time you get.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
We have a lot of time.
All right. Okay, perfect. I'm over the site. There's a lot of information, good information, and I'm ready to study. But I'm not originally from. Oh my God, I almost don't want to talk when you say the difference between a corporation of the state and the actual landmass, but they call it Texas. They call it Houston. So whatever that is.
Miss Lindsay, number 22 on your Christmas list. She taught your son cursive, how to show his work,